Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Heike. You're watching Stone Cold Coffee Crafts. This is my little assistant and co-host Lola the Ragdoll Cat. And she has decided today is not going today where she's going to have any of these let people see things shenanigans. It's all about her today, as you can see. So today is Wednesday, July the 8th. And this is my nearly daily crafty chat, the time of the day where I chat about the progress I've made on my current crafts and whips and what the plans for the next few days will be. So as always, I'm going to have a diamond painting section, I'm going to have a stitch section, and I'm going to have a knit section. I have plans for yarn I have purchased. I have a cat who's trying to kill my shawl, and I also have a little clip of something that just invaded my thoughts, and of course I'm always receptive to crazy, so maybe we will start out with this. I'm going to insert the clip I filmed here. Hi all, so I have been thinking in the last few days about yarn storage. As you have seen in the daily videos, I have acquired a lot of yarn and my craft room slash office is already overflowing with craft stuff because of the things I have accumulated over the last 11 years. So I had an idea yesterday. I have this bookshelf here in my entry hall, and I thought, you haven't touched anything in this shelf for ages, so let's see if we can at least clean it out halfway, donate some books to the library, trying to sell books that can't go to the library or for whatever reason. Yes, hi Major. And see if we can get half of it cleaned out, because this is, as you can see, is a 6-shelf bookshelf. And down here we have mostly comics and cooking magazines. Those are my comics, so for me to decide what to happen with them. These cooking magazines I have collected over years and years and years, but I hardly ever use them. So I like thumbing through cooking magazines, but when it comes to actual cooking, I usually Google for new ideas and stuff. So I don't know why I kept buying them for as long as I did. There are some more magazines and a few more books up there. Of course, I'm not going to get rid of all the books. For example, my Alice and the Wizard of Oz, I'm not going to get rid of that. I'm also not going to get rid of the one next to that. That's my Shakespeare collection. Yes, I'm the pretentious person that has a Shakespeare collection. Same for the Dickens. So some things in there are going to stay, but there are quite a few things that can go, quite frankly. For example, see those Aragon books up there? Yeah, no. I don't even know why we have 3 of them. I read the first one, I thought, this is crap. Let's not keep doing that. So I'm making another project for myself. Going to clean this out at least halfway, and then I'm going to use this shelf as a storage for yarn. I have, thankfully, not enough yarn yet to fill up 3 of these sections, but it's a good opportunity to just get rid of some stuff I don't need any longer and haven't touched in years. There's also, as you can see, it's not very neat. That's because the thing has doors. Every time you have something with doors, you just start throwing stuff in there. It has a bit of knickknacks as well. So maybe that's going to be our project today, on top of everything else. Yeah, I know, I'm crazy. Too crazy for her. All right, guys, so that's just what I wanted to share with you. I'm going to insert this in my daily crafty chat today, and you can let me know what you think. All right. So I'm quite obviously not going to do all of this today because I have to sort through the stuff, see what I can donate to my local library, which is very small, so they won't want to have everything. I have to see if I can get rid of some of it through one of these resellers. We have a couple of them, like Rebuy or Momox. Most of the time, books either won't sell or will only be worth a few pennies, but we will have to see. There are multiples I have tried to sell before, but it's pretty much dependent on if people search for these books, if those rebuyers are going to buy them from you, of course. So we will have to see. I have to see if I really need all the knickknacks in there any longer, the Harry Potter stuff that's in there and that I haven't showed you, but there are some Harry Potter merchandise that will stay, but there's some other stuff in there that I haven't touched in years and I probably don't need. So I have to see, I have to go through all this, and of course I don't want my crafty time to suffer too much, so I'm not going to do this all in one day. But long story long, how are we going to do this, cat? Will you get up? Come on, get up. So, diamond painting, hairy butt of the painting, please. Diamond painting I did yesterday, pretty much what I had planned. I finished this section, but maybe if you remember how she looked yesterday and how she looks today, you can already guess that I also went back and picked out what I had done for her hair here and here. And I also completely changed up this part of her hair. I'm going to put a picture in from yesterday's video, a screenshot of how she looked, and also what the, don't stab yourself please, also what the charting of the hair looked. I think this looks much better than what they originally intended. So she now doesn't look dead because her face is completely white, and and also the hair does look like hair and not like, what the heck is this? So yeah, I like this much better than it was originally charted. Not surprisingly, you are kneading on my scarf, on my shawl again, aren't you? Oh, cat, you're pulling threads when you do that. She's not trying to block me from you when she does that, but yeah. So plan for today is going to be doing this section here. The cat is partially sitting on again. I don't know why she refuses to get off the diamond painting today, but that's obviously our reality. Okay. This section, basically. So that's the plan for today. I'm sorry, I need to take a quick drink because my throat is super dry, like the desert. Meep. So let's pull that out and discard it for a moment. Of course I have cat hair on my nose now. So stitching. Also, no surprise, I kept stitching on Santa's Trip, the Mystery Christmas SAL, Barbara's Anna and Creative Poppy hold together. I'm still working on the frame. I think, oof, cat. I think I'm still going to be working on this frame until at least tomorrow night. It might even be a little bit longer. So you can see I've put in quite a bit more of the green, and I also have added all the berries here, but I still have to go around all the way up here, of course, to close the to close the frame. And I think this is going to take me 2 more days. And then afterwards is the little square, which I am hoping won't take more than one evening, to be frank. And afterwards it's back to Frosty Forest. Cat, I see what you are doing. Oh, she's a pest. Lost my screen, but thankfully I did not lose you. So yeah, I think this is coming along great. I'm still very happy with my choice of 28 count. So I really would recommend to you, if you get a pattern and the pattern doesn't have any non-changeable elements in it, like beads, for example. Every time you have beads, you have to be careful because those won't change in size. But every time it's just a pattern and it has just stitching and nothing else, and you don't feel comfortable with the count the designer calls for, please don't be afraid to change to your favorite fabric count. If I didn't have the intention of adding beads into this at some point, probably, I'm still not sure about that, then I probably would even have considered doing this with one thread on 36 count, because I enjoyed so much how that looked on beautiful things. So yeah, but 32 was never my happy place. So I'm kind of happy that I switched to 28 on this. Of course, that makes it a little bit bigger, but it's a seasonal decoration, so it's going to be framed and it's going to come out once a year and then it's going to go back into storage. So what's the problem in going a bit bigger? I'm feeling like I'm rushing through this today. I'm not entirely sure why. And that would be Nelly in the background, if you heard her. So, yeah, I know. Grunt, grunt, grunt. So, the shawl, which I probably won't be able to show you at all because of the cat. I have a feeling she's going to attack it as soon as I unfold it. But I've done the 9 rows I wanted to do in it yesterday. And this is the progress from yesterday's video. And now I have to do my 8 final rows on the middle section. And then I can move on to the side panels as planned on Thursday. I have found a podcast where a lot of people actually have knit this, and quite a few podcasters have mentioned it, but there was one person who went a little bit in depth about what she did, and she basically said that there's actually no need not to bind off the stitches here before you start on the side panels. The pattern actually calls for keeping the stitches live, finishing the side panels and then binding it off, and she said, well, that is going to leave bumps on the two outer edges of this, and it will look much smoother if it is going to be bound off completely first and then the panels are started, I guess, because then you can adjust how you pick up the stitches and make it look smooth. So I have decided I'm going to go against what the pattern says and follow this podcaster, and I'm going to cast this thing off instead of leaving the stitches live, because everything you do with the stitches, you just put them on hold, you finish the side panels and then you bind the whole thing off. So when I read this the first time, I wasn't so sure why I was supposed to leave the stitches live if I'm not going to do anything with them after I finished the side panels except for binding it off. I was kind of happy to find this podcast and hear this knitter talk about how it doesn't need to be kept live. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish my 8 rows today and then I'm going to bind this off, and I'm going to try to take a decent picture of this so that I have at least one chance to show you the whole thing, even with that one here interrupting all the time. Oh, and now my nose is starting to run, of course, and I don't have any tissues anywhere, have I? Oh, there they are. So, going to cut this section out and editing. because no one needs to hear that, but that's much better. So the last couple of days haven't been as warm and humid as the weekend was, which made the knitting much easier, and I'm super happy about that. Today I think is still kind of the same, though they have said we are going to reach something, I think, in the 80s temperature wise. If it's Fahrenheit, I'm not entirely sure. I'm still not able to convert it in my head. Basically 26 Celsius is what we are going to get today, which is pretty warm. It's not super hot, but it's pretty warm, and I hope it's not going to be humid, because then knitting with the fuss is going to be a pain in the butt again. So, oh, as far as yarn, maybe you're interested in that. So this is the second ball for everything. I've mentioned that. The fluff is already pretty low. I will have a little bit left over, but I shouldn't have too much left over once this is done. From the second skein of sock weight yarn, there should probably be a lot left over, because I only switched skeins on row 211, I believe. So pretty late in the game. There should be quite a bit left over of that. So, Cat has moved out of the frame for the moment, so that's what it looks like. It has a very nice drape. It's also very soft, so it is a nice feel. I am just still not the biggest lover of garter stitch, so I don't, yeah. It's your blanket now, isn't it? Yeah, no. Ow. Cat, off. No. So, sorry for that struggle. I'm honestly going to knit her own blanket. I might even add fuss into it if that's what makes her happy. So, as far as patterns, today I have picked out a pattern from a company I've been following on YouTube and Instagram for quite a while. The company is called Expression Fiber Arts. They have beautifully hand-dyed yarn. I just can't afford it. It's super expensive. Gorgeous colors, but they are in the US, and they charge for a skein of yarn over $30 to begin with, and then the shipping, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. I'm crazy. I'm not that crazy. And what's nice about them, they have very good patterns, and they also release little tutorial videos for their patterns, especially if there is some kind of stitch in there that's not instantly recognizable or something they created. They are going to release little tutorial videos with the patterns, and you can actually check that out and do what I do best and learn visually. And the one I picked out was very recently released. Every Friday they release a free pattern, both one for knitting and one for crochet. But check out their page anyway. They all the time have quite a few patterns for free, and you can just get them like you would order something. Put them in your cart, register an account. Nothing is going to happen to you if you do that, and you can download them. I think I have over 20 of their patterns downloaded. And paid for none of them. They will sometimes put patterns out for free for a short time, and every Friday they release a knit and a crochet pattern. Usually it's one new pattern and one they re-release, so they have one for knitters and one for crocheters all the time, and you can download that for a certain time. I have not checked if this one is still free. I guess so, because usually it's free for a few weeks. Well, that's the wrong window. That's the one I wanted. So the pattern I have chosen this time is the Ondinea shawl. It is originally a shawl they created for 3 skeins of yarn, because this is apparently some kind of flower from Australia. I'm not sure, and it's the colors they choose is supposed to represent the flower, the colors of the flower. I decided against the 3 colors. I found this to be a bit wasteful because you only need 2 skeins of yarn, but if you have 3 colors you are going to have very much left over. So I decided to go 1 color because I think the stitch pattern is going to look good on 1 color too, and I'm going to go, as I usually do, variegated. And I've picked out another hedgerow yarns, and this is a Twinkly Socks, and I think this was a one-of-a-kind color. Yeah, that was a one-of-a-kind color. It completely doesn't show up the way it looks. This is more green than blue, and I see a lot of tealy blue. But I thought this is actually quite nice and it would fit the pattern well, and I wanted to try their twinkly yarn because I have not tried that yet. I can say that it's very soft. The twinkle is not, you cannot feel it, and it's, remember that yarn I picked out to make the socks, the Beauty and the Beast sock club. The thing I didn't like about that twinkly yarn is that the twinkle in it was so in your face and bold and strong. So this one here is very subtle, very, very subtle. And I like that you can't feel it at all. So even if you are intending on making socks with this yarn, you won't have this itchy, yucky feeling of metal threads on your feet. Something I struggle with. I struggle with wool on my feet anyway, but that's a different topic. So that's the yarn I have chosen, and I think it will go very well with this pattern. All right, so this is actually all I have today. I still have a feeling I rushed through this. If the cat struggle wasn't in here, it probably would have been, yeah, cat struggle. That was the word you were waiting for, right? This would have been something like 13 minutes plus the little clip I shot. So, surprising. But all right, I'm fine with that. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going to keep updating you on how the shelf situation comes along. I'm pretty sure I'll have it done by the weekend. That's at least what I want to have done by the weekend. And I'll let you know how it looks in the end with all the yarn in there. And it will be such a relief to not have these yarn piles everywhere any longer. All right. Lola is saying goodbye as well. She wants her cuddles now. So have a wonderful day. Enjoy whatever you're doing. And I should be back tomorrow. Bye, guys.